Hello, thanks for joining me, astrologer Patrick Arundell, for your astrological overview for week commencing the 14th of September. This week begins on the back of last week's solar eclipse, which occurred on the last day of last week, forging a semi-sextile with Mars. The suggestion here is, in Virgo, this solar eclipse, is that we have an opportunity to combine precision with also flair and exuberance, which comes from Mars in Leo. But eclipses work in pairs, and this one will feed into the lunar eclipse, which occurs in Aries on the 28th of this month. And the suggestion over the next 6 months is for all of us, it's about making a little bit of a trade between being individualistic and also showing some sacrifice and fitting in with what other people expect of us. And this week, with Jupiter continuing to work itself through Virgo, but in an opposition with Neptune, well, there's plenty of opportunities to be very sacrificing. So if you are interested in doing things for people who are less fortunate, good causes, just being very caring, as long as your motives are completely good, this can be a very positive time. The difficulty, of course, is that the two ruling planets of Pisces in opposition can create a sense of distortion, exaggeration, and Jupiter itself is in detriment in the sign of Virgo. Because Jupiter is about expansion, it's about really sort of looking at things in a bigger way, whereas Virgo is about looking at things in a more exacting way. However, we can still make this work to our advantage over the next year, and there's likely to be lots of developments, I think, certainly around health and the way that we can improve our lot through greater knowledge in this area, because Jupiter is the planet of knowledge. Now, last week, Mercury was influential, and it continues to be this week. In fact, it repeats two of the influences from last time. It forges a wonderful angle to a wonderful sextile to Venus, and Venus itself in the second half of this week is also re-engaging with Uranus, again encouraging us to be rather more spontaneous in the way that we relate to people, follow our hunches, but more challenging is Mercury's angle to Pluto, which goes on all week. You could encounter someone who's very evangelical about their view of something, and this person could be deeply traditional in their outlook. On the other hand, you could be someone who wants to uphold what you see as being a fairness and may encounter a big organisation that's down, is really wanting more and more from people, and really there's not a lot to do with social justice in their approach. It's more about big bucks, big business. And so there can be stuff like this played out in the international sense. There can be stuff played out in our own lives. It's important, therefore, to understand if we feel passionate about something and we go into battle talking about it, that we get our facts right, because Mercury does go into its third annual retrograde on Thursday for 3 weeks, all in Libra. Libra, of course, is about balance. So if we do find ourselves almost over-analysing something, it wouldn't be a surprise. This can happen with Mercury in Libra as it's retreating. But by the very end of this week, Saturn returns to Sagittarius. This is the 9th zodiac sign, and in this sector, Saturn's really checking out our knowledge. And if we have got gaps in our knowledge, that can be scrutinised more. But it's also an opportunity. Saturn is seen so darkly, and of course it can be a ferociously difficult influence. But equally, it really is pushing us to be more self-disciplined and work hard at the areas of life that it's influencing for us. Now, in an overall sense, it's in the 9th solar house, but it depends on your particular zodiac sign, and of course then in a more profound sense, it depends then on your natal horoscope. But just in that overall sense, we've got a situation where knowledge is going to be key, international affairs come very much under the spotlight, and the financial markets, which are all so closely interactive and interconnected these days like never before, it's almost certain that some of the turbulence that we've experienced recently as Jupiter and the Sun broadly squared up with Saturn, although it was in a disassociate way. But now Saturn has returned to the sector of international influence. I do feel that those markets could come under pressure, particularly towards the end of Saturn's transit through the sign of Sagittarius. But for us all, we need to work hard at informing ourselves more. It's been a real pleasure being with you. Thank you for joining me. Good luck and goodbye for now.